Texas Elector Christopher Suprun has refused to vote for Trump regardless of the vote of his state, which is Texas, obviously. So we're going to break this down and why he does. He wrote this op-ed on, I believe, the New York Times. This is the one I've read. I'll leave the source down below in the description as usual. And here we go. Quote, I'm a Republican presidential elector, one of 538 people asked to choose officially the President of the United States. Since the election, people have asked me to change my vote based on policy disagreements with Donald J. Trump. In some cases, they cite the popular vote difference. I do not think presidents-elect should be disqualified for policy disagreements. I do not think they should be disqualified because they won the Electoral College instead of the popular vote. However, now I am asked to cast a vote on December 19th for someone who shows daily he is not qualified for the office. Okay, so basically he goes on to explain that actually he thinks that he is not qualified to run or to be president because of his public sayings and his common race talk and all that type of stuff. But it seems interesting to me because it kind of brings up the arguments there, and I think it really depends on how you look at the situation. I think that if you look at it and saying, hey, she won the popular vote, and I believe that the Electoral College should be abolished, which would be kind of ironic as an elector for the Electoral College. But from my standpoint, I would say, okay, that could be an argument. However, the other argument would be that if you're talking about the popular vote, he is an elector of Texas, which voted for a Republican, so therefore, or Donald Trump specifically. So therefore, you would have to actually by that same logic, vote for Trump because you are of the state of Texas, not the whole country as a whole. So now I think this is very interesting because you have arguments like that. And I think that if you're principled and you believe that the Electoral College should be abolished or that the popular vote should not be undermined by the Electoral College, I think you would have to logically say that he should vote for Trump because that is the candidate that his state chose. So if you're saying that the Electoral College would undermine the popular vote, his vote as an elector would undermine the popular vote of Texas. So by the same logic, by the same token, you would have to say, okay, don't go rogue, vote Trump, because by the same token, we would not want you to vote for Trump in a state that voted Hillary. So, we got another quote here, quote, the election of the next president is not yet a done deal. Electors of conscience can still do the right thing for the good of the country. Presidential electors have the legal right and the constitutional duty to vote their conscience. I believe electors should unify behind a Republican alternative, an honorable and qualified man or woman such as Governor John Kasich of Ohio. I pray my fellow electors will do their job and join with me in discovering who that person should be. So John Kasich actually came out and said not to vote for him because he's not a candidate, and basically it would be a waste. So that's interesting. However, this just seems, again, this is a shit show. 2016 is a shit show. The election of 2016 is a shit show, and it just never seems to end. And now we have some more action going on, and let's see what happens. We got some rogue electors going here, the #Hamilton electors.